Hello, YouTube and Facebook followers. It's Bobblehead from the Bobblehead Scale Rod Shop. I'm going to give us a little bit to get some folks in here. Hello, folks. Hey, John. How's it going? Moving things around for a second real quick. Sorry, bud. What nights are you on? Because I've been working 3 jobs and I've kind of been missing a lot of people's live feeds. Thursdays and... Oh. I'll have to go back and rewatch that. Because I definitely need to learn some of that. But, yeah, I've got Sundays and Thursdays I'm home and able to be online. But, tonight I just wanted to chit chat for a little bit. A buddy of mine is coming over and I got to work on his real car, so I got about 45 minutes to an hour until he shows up. Thought I'd display something I got from a buddy. Okay, I'll have to look them up and watch them. My one job, I can't keep my phone on me. The other job, as soon as I turn it on, I get hollered at. And the other job, I'm too busy trying to look over my shoulder to make sure nobody's coming after me. This in front of you is a 36 Ford. It's the AMT kit. As you can tell, it's got white walls on it. Pretty much looks like a box stock. It's a glue bomb that somebody started. I'm actually going to do some cleanup on it. I'm actually going to convert the nose to put a 37 Ford nose on it to give it the look of a Lincoln Zephyr. One of my all-time favorite cars is the 36 to 41 Zephyrs. And so that's where this one's at. It's haven't really started anything on it, just sitting here. But our big thing I wanted to talk about is mentors, because Jan Hare brought it up on his show this past Monday or Tuesday, I think it was. Yes, sir. It's going to be a George Bear style, old school. But here I started building models when I was 12. I got my first model kit from my grandfather, God rest his soul, when I was 12. And I didn't know much about it. I came from, I built 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. I think between the time I was 12 until the time I turned 20, I think I put together maybe a total of 10 models. and they all looked horrendous. I mean, this glue bomb looks way better than some of my glue bombs. In fact, I've got one of my originals somewhere, and I've redone it like twice. But when I moved to St. Louis, hey DG, that's awesome. I still have mine, but it's somewhere. No clue where it's at right now. But I've also rebuilt it twice, so. But when I moved here at the age of 20, the very first hobby show I went to, and was October of 1994. I'm a now member of that group, the club that put the show on. I met a couple people, and I would go to their shows for about 2-3 years, and I just was interested in it, but I was still hesitant. I had actually, in my first year, other than getting into an accident in the parking lot, put my car into one of my builds into the show, and eventually I got to know a couple of the gentlemen in the club, Bob and Gary, and got to know them a little bit better. When I joined the club, they took me sort of under their wing, and I learned a lot. I've learned a lot, and I still learn from them. Gary likes all kinds of models, especially drag models and drag cars, but he builds everything out there under the sun, except for he hasn't done a lot of pickup trucks, but he has done a couple. But he does build a lot of different various cars. And Bob builds primarily street machines, drag cars, dirt cars, 60s and 50s, 60s and 70s NASCAR, mostly 60s and early 70s kits. And I try to follow Bob as far as the detailing goes, because he's probably one of the bestest that I've learned a lot from when it comes to detailing motors and how to go about detailing stuff. And what I've learned from Gary is how to incorporate and look at, say, a picture on Google, Google image, and how to translate that to, say, like this 36, to put this 37 nose on, because if you look at a 36 Lincoln Zephyr, the grill looks identical to a 37 Ford. So I'm using a 37 Ford grill. It needs to stand a little bit farther out, but I'm going to have to fill in the center of this hood, shave the hood just a bit, bring this edge back a little bit of the corner, and then build the plastic that goes in and goes to the edge here. I wouldn't, if I had not met them two gentlemen, especially Gary, I'd be frightened to death of learning how to do this. So now I have not just the ability, but the knowledge that I can go ahead and do that. I've also learned from other people, not just them two. Hey Frankie, I've learned from guys in the magazines. I've learned from guys that have their own shows. Mr. Many Dreams is one of the guys I've learned a lot from. I've learned, like, when it comes to lowriders, my buddy Wes that's here in town, I've learned a lot from him on lowriders. I've also learned a lot from, just watching people, like on Facebook, people build things, and one of them is John Teresi, and super cool guy, and his builds are just amazing. And I've learned a lot from just watching him. But I have to go back and say that the two that I consider my mentors is Bob and Gary. And to sort of consider them anything else other than just being good friends and being my mentors is, unless it's in that realm of what I consider them, it's different. But that's what I consider them. Besides really good friends, they are my two mentors. In fact, I don't, where I live, I don't have, because of, we have a boiler for our heat in the winters in our house, and I don't have the ability to have a paint booth in the house. So we go over to Bob's house almost every Sunday, and that's where I do a lot of my painting. Everybody, you see the truck in the back, you see it now, silver. The work that I put into the back of the cab, there's actually a piece that's supposed to go in there, and the piece that I built melted from the paint. I had bad paint reaction. So the cab, the nose, and the interior is completely new pieces. The interior warped. There's the interior bucket, and it's completely warped. The hood that I originally had warped. So if it hadn't been for Bob and Gary and them telling me, hey, it's, take that next step. It's only a few bucks to get yourself another kit for them parts. You've already gotten it this far. I would have probably scrapped this project. I was very, very, I don't want to say down, but I would say at the point of saying, no, I'm done. I'm done with this build. I'm just going to toss it away. So to have friends like that, that's very meaningful for me. And that's, the type of guys that they are. But we also bounce ideas back and forth. So that's another one of the fun things that we do. Like, they'll take and call me, hey, what do you think of this? I'll call them, say, hey, I'm thinking of this. What do you think? What if I do this and this to it? And we kind of work really good like that. But I've never had the chance in other realms of things to have people like that. Like when I did my worked in audio visual, I took and had my general manager, God rest his soul, but when he passed away, I was left on my own, and there was probably a couple hundred items I still had questions to. And I can't sit here and say, oh, well, if he had taught me this, well, he passed away from cancer, and there's nothing I can do about that to bring him back. and the people that were put in place or put in, the roles, they didn't know their head from their rear. So, um, so I got put in that place where I didn't really have a mentor there. And, I heard somebody say that, well, mentors just show you the basics and leave you be, and you're on your own. You don't, afterwards you can do what you want, and, you know, they're kind of useless. Well, the person who said that said, I clearly straightened them out. I said, if you think that your mentor is useless and has no right shaping how you learn or how you do something, then you might as well not come back. And we don't have a lot of young people in this hobby. We're trying to. A lot of us put forth the effort to try and bring forth more younger generation. And that's why, besides Wes and I, we both, well, between Wes and I should say, we try to mentor a couple of young gentlemen that's here in our area. Cool. And every time I see or hear that, John, I appreciate that more. That just means that we, as the builders, the current department of building, or the people that have been building for 20, 25 years, is branching out, and that means a lot to me because I love this hobby. I bleed this hobby. And a lot of people will sit there and go, "Oh, well, that hobby's dying. It's trash. You don't need to do this. You don't need to do that. You just need to do this, blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah." Well, as far as I'm concerned, you could take your blah, 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 get the hell out of my sight, because you know what? I don't care. I love my hobby. And it wasn't just Jan Heyer's the video that brought all this up. I heard from another person making comments, and the hilarious thing is they're part of another club that's right here in the city. They think they're God's gift to the green earth. And they'll sit there and say, well, if you don't do this, and it looks like trash and you shouldn't build it. If you say that to a younger generation, guess what? They're going to believe you and they're going to walk away. I don't do that. I won't do that. See ya, DG. But the fact is, and the standard is, especially with me, is that we have approximately 10 younger generation that come to the meetings of the two clubs that I do go to. One which is this past Tuesday. And excuse me. They will sit there and ask questions. They want to know. They want to absorb your knowledge. And they're asking you to be somewhat of their mentor. And you know what? By God, I'm going to be that person. I will not sit there and say, no, I'm not going to help you. Go build your own. Because nobody did that to me. Bob and Gary took me under their wing, and they still do to this day. And they sit there and show me, hey, if you try this, you can make it look like this. You know? And to me, that's an outstanding way of taking the young and putting them on helping them grow. So I just, sorry if I'm a little ranty, but see ya, John. But the fact is that, that's what, mentoring and being that person that helps the younger generation. That's what makes a hobby, not just this hobby, but all hobbies needed. Because I know my broken legs or badly damaged legs, I can't get out on a soccer field and or football field anymore and show somebody how to tackle somebody or how to kick, play soccer or play basketball. That's why we've got the coaches that, coaches and the younger coaches and all that jazz. That's what they're there for. But hobbies calm us down. They center us. And they give us a route to be not just artistic, to show our artistic side. And that to me is why I love our hobby. And I do everything in my power to uphold those standards of our hobby. So, but also wanted to go and show you something that our Kansas City show. I got this. That's true. That's true, Frankie. I've seen that a lot. Frankie just said that that's because they're afraid of the apprentice becoming better than them. I'm not afraid of the kids that I mentor becoming better than me. I want them to become better than me. I want to put that. This is what I did in my time. This is what took me to this point. I want you to go farther. And the two of the kids that we have in the area, they are exceeding us. And that to me, it puts a smile on my face. As you can see in front of you, I've got the monogram 450 Rally Mercedes. Nice old kit. I got this for $15 in Kansas City. I think I've shown it to you before. But there are some pieces missing, which I didn't know this, and I didn't really notice when I was showing it. It was basically the grill and the rear bumper and the rear spoiler. But this was a nice kit. And then, otherwise a nice kit, I found another one. eBay has no paint on the box, even though the edges of the box are beat up. It's actually a better looking top than the other one. But I bought this for $7. And even though the windshield frame is broken in 2 spots, all the parts that I need are in here. And for the price, I can actually build me my Mercedes. So that's pretty cool. You guys will see that get built here in the near future. But then I took in one of the guys on Facebook that I follow, Mr. Perdini, has a sales page where he sells stuff and has auctions. And I'm just starting to cut it. I'm a good old country boy and love my down home country roots as far as racing goes. And one form of racing is tractor pulling. And I love me some tractor pulling. Ooh, that's a nice piece. But this came in today. It's the front body. There's definitely some sanding to do. Looks like it's a resin piece. And the over the fenders. Now, from my understanding, the donor kit for this is the Meisterbrow / Blazing Bison. And seeing as I've got two of them kits, I'm going to actually use one of them to build this. And I cannot wait, because that will be one cool piece of cool. One of the youngsters that I was telling you about, he wants to somewhat challenge me to build a truck and tractor pulling vehicle. And growing up where I did, I've gotten to know and meet a lot of the guys in tractor and truck pulling. But it's just something different, and it's something that'll doing a little sanding and work on it. Hey Jeff. Yeah, we're just earlier doing a little bit of talk on mentors. And right now just working on this beautiful John Deere body. I've been wanting to build a tractor pulling tractor, so a little bit more cleanup, but it's a pretty cool item. Can't wait to get really working on it. But yeah, if you have the ability and the chance to, like I was saying, to mentor somebody, do it. It helps grow the hobby and uh, elevates it to a level that is greater than what we are. What we are. Hey, Ron. Give me 1 second, fellas. All right. Found it. So this goes on here. Oh. I actually bought this Blazing Bison for a project. Ooh, well, that did it. All right. It's gonna look different, but I think it's gonna work. Thank you, Ron. Um, yeah, it's a glue bomb that I took and bought from a friend, and I'm giving it the Lincoln Zephyr 36 Zephyr look, which if you look at on Google, which is what I was using, the 36 Lincoln Zephyrs had more like a 37 Ford nose. So that's where all that's coming from. And excuse me. Dang, somehow I gotta fit one of these motors underneath that. Ooh, that's not gonna be fun. But yeah, just thought I'd play with this a little bit. This body I just can't got in today. Um, from one of the Facebook auctions. I really like the old school tractor look. So thinking it does come with its own rear fenders, but I think I'm going to go with the fenders that's on the Meisterbrow. But yeah, so hopefully everybody's still building. Oh boy, down to only 2 people. But yeah, yeah, this is the Meisterbrow is going to be a. This is an actual puller body that is produced by FX Scaled Effects. Never heard of them. So I thought I'd give it a try. It was just 12 measly dollars. Hey NYS. Only on for a short time tonight. About another 15 minutes or so. Got a buddy coming over. Got to work on his real car. So he can't get the electronics to work right. He's got the dash works in the car, but as far as then like the radio and all that, none of that works. So got to get that up and running for him. But yeah, I'm thinking I'll take and cut into this body to have the engine sitting with the headers coming out of the sides. It'll be a 1-engine tractor. I forget what class they call the 1-engine tractors. I think it's like hot rod or something. But I'm a southern country boy and I love watching, excuse me, tractor pulling. So Of course, I'm going to try to build something so I can build a tractor. And I think when I pulled the motors out, I accidentally pulled the supports out. Nice. But yeah, just working on things. Yeah, that's actually a funny. I got a story about that. Um, the vehicle that I had before my current one, I had aftermarket headlights in it, and I got pulled over by the police and got told multiple times, "Oh, your headlights are illegal. Your headlights are illegal." And I was like, "Okay, well, give me a little bit, and I'll take and get what you want, and we'll sort this out and make everything right." And I did, got everything right. Everything was correct, and they told me that the HID headlights were illegal, which they're not. I just called an old salty police officer wanting to be even more salty than being salty. So, but I actually had to go to our county court, in which he did not show up to the hearing for the ticket. And the judge, not knowing what to do, wasn't going to throw it out. The judge took and ordered him to actually show up at the next meeting, in which he didn't. Yeah, where I live, actually, NYS, or Dillon, um, the state has reissued the law, if you want to say reissued. But as far as the law pertained at the time of me owning the car and the county rules and guidelines, they did not want them in public. That was their Poughkeepsie of sorts to, you know, keeping things simple, stupid, as per se, because this wonderful state that I live in likes to do that. It'll take and say 1 minute, yeah, this is legal, in the next 5 minutes, no, they're not. So, but yeah, it was. The judge ordered him to the court to actually show up, and when he went to explain himself to the judge goes, "Really? You had somebody come to court, and then I had to get you to come into the court over headlights that on January 1 will be 100% legal in the state." And the judge asked me why I had HIDs and everything, and I'm like, well, sir, where I live and where I work, there is a lot of land in between. Get out of here, fly. A lot of land that is dark, and I want to see where I'm driving. And judge looks at me and goes, that's a generally good reason. Because the highways are not lit that well. And he looks over at the officer and goes, I don't want to see anything like this ever again. So, oops. Oh, I tried to make something work, and it isn't going to work. So I'm going to have to build my own supports. And I don't even have... Oh, that's going to be fun. But yeah. So. Yeah, I know. It's completely asinine, but that's why we live in the society we live in, and we have the rights that we have, and that's why we have courts of law and the ability to go to the courts of law to get amended or get our rights put to where they are necessary. So, and Ron's correct. A lot of our old school police officers, they're still old school and they have their beliefs, and you're not going to sit there and change their beliefs. Yeah, it is pretty messed up. I mean, I don't live where it's a, you know, I would like to say that I live in a city where it's pretty okay, but there is a lot of stuff that is, in my eyes, ridiculous to how a business or corporation and laws are run. That's true. A lot of cars, Dylan, a lot of car manufacturers have gone to strictly HID type headlights, and so you can only get HIDs for your car. So oops. Just doing a little cleanup and modifying of parts that I'm going to use. But yep, that's what we're doing. That's what we got going on. So yes, they are. They are pretty cool. But oh, I hear car just pulled up. So I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. Um, Sorry I'm getting off kind of quick with everybody that's just got on. But gonna go work on his electronics. Hopefully get his car back to correct. Ugh, that's horrible. But I'm going to cut it off short. Um, I will catch everybody next week. We'll be on again. And this is Bobblehead from the Bobblehead Scale Ride Shop saying I'll catch you later.